There we go. You can always tell when we're ready. The red lights light up here on the little sign on the wall. That's how. That's my little sign to let me know. So anyway, it is January 3rd, 2024. Welcome to the reorganization meeting of the Mayor and Council of Princeton, New Jersey. And we'll start with our meeting statement.
Adequate notice of this meeting was provided in accordance with the requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act, including the time, date, and location of the meeting. In addition, the agenda and all related materials were posted electronically and made available to the public on Princeton's meeting portal in advance of the meeting.
Thank you very much. Leighton is going to do our land acknowledgement tonight.
Thank you, Mayor. We gather today on the land of the Lenni Lenape. As members of the Princeton community, we aspire to show appreciation, respect, and concern for all peoples and our environment. We honor the Lenape and other indigenous caretakers of these lands and waters, the elders who lived here before, the indigenous today, and the generations to come.
Thank you. Can we have a roll call of the 2023 council, please?
Ms. Perone-Lambros?
Here.
Ms. Niedergang?
Here.
Mr. Cohen?
Here.
Ms. Sachs? Yes. Ms. Fraga?
Here.
Mr. Newland?
Yes.
Mayor Frida?
Here.
You have quorum.
If you'd like to stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, we are going to swear in newly or / re-elected members of council. And Leticia Fraga will be first with Susan Roy, Esquire, swearing her in.
I'm going to have all my family members who are here join me. It may take a while.
All good, all good. It's a family event. Wait, Leticia, could you and Susan just stand somewhere near the microphone so people joining us remotely can hear you guys?
Maybe I'll hold it. There we go. No, the other way around. Yep, there we go. You guys can move closer. Okay. Maybe you hold the microphone. Sure. And then put it. Okay, ready?
I, Leticia Fraga,
I, Leticia Fraga,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established in the United States and the state,
and to the government established in the United States and the state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties
and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties
of the office of council member
of the office of council member
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Councilman David Cohen, whose oath will be administered by Judge Philip Karchman. Karchman is next.
Do you want to borrow Leticia's family to?
I've got the only family I
Jeez.
I was going to just grab a volume from the Code of Criminal Conduct that's up on the dais, but I like this better. Sure.
Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, David Cohen,
I, David Cohen,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established in the United States and in the state
and to the governments established in the United States and the state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties of the office of council member
perform all the duties of the office of council member
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. I'm going to have you sign.
Okay, I believe the camera thing has been corrected, so when we give our speeches, we can now stay up here. And now, if we could do the roll call of the 2024 council.
Ms. Perone Lambros,
Here.
Ms. Niedergang,
Here.
Mr. Cohen,
Here.
Ms. Sachs,
Here.
Ms. Fraga,
Here.
Mr. Newland,
Glad to be here.
Mayor Frida.
Here.
You have quorum.
Thank you very much. Next up is election of the council president. Is there a motion?
I wish to nominate my colleague Mia Sachs.
Thank you very much. Is there a second?
Second that motion.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Congratulations. And now the oath for that position will be presented, and Judge Karchman is going to come forward again and join Mia down front. Can we get the microphone? Just so the people remotely can hear you guys. Thank you.
Repeat after me.
Owen, would you like to hold the Bible? Would you like to hold the Bible?
And then you can hold it. You, there we go.
Tell you what, let me stand.
Hand on the Bible and raise your right hand. There we go. I, Mia Sachs,
I, Mia Sachs,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same and to the governments established in the United States
to the same and to the governments established in the United States
and in the state under the authority of the people,
and in the state under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all of the duties of the office of council president
perform all of the duties of the office of council president
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God. Thank you very much.
Luckily for us, the 29 resolutions that we need to pass to let the government function at the beginning of the year have all been put into a consent agenda. These are all items of just things we just have to do. So that saves us a little bit of time and gives us more time for all the speeches of all us individually. Eve is going to move the consent agenda. Leighton has got the second. Any questions on the, just making sure? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, that just saved us about 15 minutes. All right, I get to kick off with some remarks. First of all, I would like to acknowledge that the mayor of East Windsor, Janice Mironoff, is with us. Janice, thank you very much. Our county clerk, Paula Solomon, is here. Paula, thank you very much for joining us. And of course, thank you to all the staff and that has also took time out to come to tonight's meeting. So anyway, good evening and welcome to our 2024 reorganization meeting. We all agreed to keep our comments, and David and I were comparing our sheets. I have 2 sheets at a large font, and he has 1 sheet at a very small font. So we're going to see how well we do in keeping our speeches short. But anyway, and I'd like to thank you all for being here, and thank you to people that are watching us remotely. Let me start with a round of thanks. First and foremost, of course, to my family, to my wife and children, for all their support and for all their understanding for all the time that I devote to being mayor. Thank you to all the residents of Princeton for interacting with myself and with all the members of the governing body. Thank you to our staff, from our administrator to our newest employee. Thank you for everything that they do to help us do what we need to do every day. Everything the governing body hopes to do happens through our staff, and their time and energy is truly appreciated. Thank you to our community partners that we work with throughout the year, and of course, thank you to the rest of the governing body. A lot was accomplished in 2023, and a lot will happen again in 2024. We accomplished many things by working together, working with community partners, and engaging the public prior to making decisions. Pretty simple process to follow for success. We face many challenges. I'll name just a couple. Princeton is a very desirable place to live. This puts pressure on housing prices, both for purchase and rental. How do we maintain the mix of people that makes Princeton so attractive? How do we balance growth and density going forward? Where does growth and density make sense? What amount of growth and density makes sense? As residents walk and bike more, how do we provide the proper amount of safe routes for them in a town built around driving a car? How do we balance residents walking and biking more while being a regional destination point? Meaning many people in our town come from outside of the town, so they are driving here. Balance is the goal. We get there by listening to each other and being reasonable in our expectations. Many people love what we have done with Upper Witherspoon Street, but some worry about the impact on the flow of traffic due to the one-way section of the street. We will not agree on everything we do, but as long as we talk to each other, actually listen to each other, and really consider what each other has to say, we will continue to move ahead. We have seen great concept plans for Community Park South, but how do we afford all of that? On the reverse side, how do we continue to have such a great asset remain in such poor condition? Again, we need to find the balance between what is needed and what we can afford, but we can do that. We recently had the condition of every road in town analyzed to help us determine what work we need to do to maximize the dollars we put into road work. This is a balance between the current condition of the roads, the amount of traffic on the roads. Does an overlay work make more sense than doing a full road construction? Again, this is all about finding the proper balance. In areas like health and human services, using our outreach coordinators to help us identify needs in the community. What can we provide? What can we provide with our community partners? What can we provide working with the county or state and their resources? Again, what is the proper balance? Tonight is not about solving these and other challenges, but realizing that they are there and that we will work together to try to solve them. The process can take time. It can get messy, but it is a very good process to talk and to listen and then to decide. My view on how to get things done: work together, communicate openly and frequently, be open and upfront with our residents and each other on every topic, build relationships between the governing body and staff. with our community partners, with our residents, with elected officials in other municipalities, and elected officials at the county, state, and federal levels. And I spend a lot of time doing that, as do all the other members of the council. Princeton is a great place, but it does not fit the stereotype so many assign to it. We have the same challenges as many cities, as many municipalities with less resources. We do not have unlimited financial resources to throw at every problem, so we must make hard decisions at times. We must be able to say, no, we cannot do that, or that no, that is not a priority. So setting clear long-term goals and priorities is important. I consider it a privilege to serve as your mayor and to work with the rest of the governing body and our staff for all our residents. And I look forward to all that we will do together in 2024. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, council remarks, and I assume have you guys decided?
Council President is first. Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure you guys had. Mia, are you?
I'm ready.
There we go.
So I'm going to use my time a little bit differently. I looked, and last year I spent an inordinate amount of time boring you with all the detailed things that we're doing in the municipality. So I decided to change it up a little bit this year. And I want to use my time to express my gratitude to the elected officials sitting on either side of me, with whom I have the privilege to serve every day, and to highlight some of their unique talents and how they benefit our residents. Mark. Our mayor, Mark Frieda, has spent his life since he was a teenager devoted to saving the lives of Princeton residents as a firefighter and a member of the First Aid and Rescue Squad. Now the town is fortunate to have him applying that knowledge daily as he works closely with our police, fire, and emergency services personnel. It is said that half of life is just showing up, and Mark has now made room in his already full life to show up daily, 7 days a week, to preside over events important to Princeton residents on a scale that would take most people 10 full lives to accomplish. Thank you, Mark. Leticia. Leticia is the heart and the conscience of this council, for those of you who don't already know that. Many people in the town like to espouse lofty principles, especially in a town like Princeton. Leticia is someone who actually lives her principles daily. She has been a tireless champion of our underserved communities, working to ensure they have access to basic services, food, and medical care. Residents who would otherwise feel insignificant or invisible in our town are made by Leticia on a daily basis to feel included, valued, and part of our Princeton community. Thank you, Leticia. Eve. For those of you who don't know, apart from her storied environmental work, Eve has a background in testing. And on council, she is the test against which all municipal matters, large or small, must pass. Members of the public not able to make it through all 300 pages of an agenda packet should rest assured that Eve has made it through, and she has your back. Her rigorous scrutiny and attention to detail ensure a level of governmental quality control that is invaluable to her colleagues and to her community. Thank you, Eve. Leighton. Leighton is the heart and soul of this governing body. His listening skills are renowned, and his eloquent prose keeps our eyes on the prize. It sometimes seems that half of Princeton is a relative of Leighton, which is true. And the good news is that, as a member of council, Leighton cares for the entire town if they were his immediate family. Thank you, Leighton.
Thanks, Mia.
David. I'm sorry, I'm not doing this in any order other than random. For the last 4 years, David has been slogging away weekly at something we call code harmonization, which, prior to David's quest, was as elusive as the Holy Grail. This labor-intensive and labyrinthine task involves bringing together the land use codes of the former borough and township, codes that date back so far they regulate things like piggeries and millinaries. Sorry, I looked up the pronunciation. In addition to being a glutton for punishment, David's background as an architect, attention to detail, and willingness to patiently translate complex concepts into lay speak has worked wonders. I would be remiss if I failed to mention the bright, shining moment for all of us in 2023, in which David harnessed the poetry of Robert Frost, along with basic physics and planning 101, to describe how change works or doesn't work over time in a community like ours. Thank you, David. Michelle. For those who might have forgotten, Michelle and I started out running against each other in a highly competitive primary. That was before we became the conglomerate oft referred to as M&M. Utilizing her background as a small business owner, Michelle has revamped municipal budgetary processes to ensure greater accountability, and she has revitalized our central business district, bringing desperately needed commercial ratables to offset residential property taxes. If you doubt my word about how the center of Princeton is thriving, try to get a seat anywhere for anything at any time after 5 p.m. on any night. Michelle, I am glad that our vision for Princeton is as large as our height is small. And that we have been there for each other and our community every single one of the 1,443 days since we took office. One would be hard-pressed to find elected officials at the thankless local level anywhere in the state of New Jersey who are more committed to their town than this outstanding group. I am truly grateful to have them as colleagues, comrades, and companions in working for the greater good of our residents. So Mark, Leticia, Leighton, Eve, David, and Michelle, thank you all for giving me the opportunity to work closely together with you to serve our community in 2024. It is a tremendous honor. So.
Oh, man.
I wanted to go next because first, it's really difficult to follow that. Thank you so much, Mia. We really appreciate your words. And also because on this side, nobody wants to follow Leighton.
Oh.
And you'll find out why after you hear his remarks. I want to thank everyone, but before moving on to what I promised, I will be very brief remarks. I wish to acknowledge and thank my friends and members of my family who are with me today. My husband, Stephen, my children, Benjamin, Sophia, and Sandra, my grandkids who are here, and I really appreciate you being with me, and also my friends who life almost feels like a lifetime of the Monroy Trujillo family. I want to thank you all for your continued encouragement and support. Each and every one of you inspire me to want to make a positive difference in the life of others, just as you have made a difference in mine. When I was first elected, I pledged to represent all voices in our community. And as a member of council, I have committed to using an equity lens when making policy decisions. This has meant considering how each decision will impact different groups within our community and actively seeking to promote fairness and inclusivity in all areas of governance. By prioritizing equity in our policies, I believe that we can work towards a more just and equitable society, where everyone has access to the resources and opportunities that they need to thrive. My work on council has been focused on ensuring that all members of our vulnerable population have access to basic needs like food, housing, and healthcare, as well as moving forward and supporting policies that improve the quality of life of all residents. And as a first-generation immigrant, I know firsthand what it means to fight for better opportunities for our families. It continues to be a priority of mine to ensure that we are creating and supporting policies that provide our residents with the resources needed to lead healthy and fulfilling lives. During my time on council, my colleagues and I have made great strides in improving the quality of life of all who call Princeton home, and I am eager to continue this progress. I will continue to be closely involved in formulating policies that address safety, health, and the well-being of residents. I'm incredibly proud of the work that my colleagues and I have accomplished together. Through collaboration and a shared commitment to progress, we have made great strides in improving our community and creating positive change. I am inspired by the dedication and hard work of my colleagues on the governing body, the municipal staff, as well as community partners who regularly collaborate with us to make Princeton a better place for all who live and work here. I look forward to continuing to work together to build a brighter future for our community. Thank you.
Okay, so I actually decided to try and sort of relive my great shining moment from 2023 and talk a little bit about the master plan and how it relates to our work on council. And I did rewrite a little, so anybody who heard it before at the planning board, don't worry, there's some new tidbits for you. Reflecting on the past year and the year to come, I would like to share some thoughts on the promise and pitfalls of planning with a capital P. Much of my council effort over the past year and a half has been consumed with helping to prepare the new community master plan adopted in late November. And even more of my time will be devoted in the coming year to bringing the goals laid out in the plan to fruition. I don't mean to suggest that all those goals will be implemented in such a short time frame. It will literally take years to ordinance them all, and perhaps decades for the desired results to materialize, but I'm excited to get started. I think it was Winston Churchill who said, "Democracy is the worst form of government, except for all the other forms that have been tried from time to time." I feel sort of the same way about planning. It is full of opportunities for missteps and unintended consequences, but it is better than the alternative. For better or worse, change is inevitable, and as my colleague Eve likes to say, if we don't plan for the change we want, we get change that we don't want. I have seen exactly this happening and lamented over the 36 years I've lived in Princeton. Modest homes being torn down and replaced with large, expensive McMansions, and even the remaining more modest homes skyrocketing in price, an inexorable trend towards becoming a golden ghetto. Already unaffordable to all but the top 5% and the lucky few who qualify for subsidized affordable housing. Most of us could never afford to buy here today. Up until now, Princeton hasn't planned for change. We've planned to stay the same and failed. Council has made various attempts to address the problem of teardowns since I joined in 2018. The neighborhood character zoning ordinance was one, focused mostly on the design character of the new houses being built. And the accessory dwelling unit ordinance was another, focused on encouraging gentle infill. But nothing we have done has moved the needle on the issue of affordability. Bringing change we do want is a truly local issue and achievable only through local solutions. My support for the master plan comes from a deeply conservative place. I loved the generational and socioeconomic diversity we had in Princeton when I first moved here, when young families and seniors, members of the police force, and public school teachers could afford to live in the community they served. A healthy, functioning community should be able to house all who work in and contribute to the life of the community. To say otherwise is like saying a healthy, functioning body can be fine outsourcing some of its vital functions. Who needs kidneys? Let's just outsource that to a dialysis machine. I think the kind of changes proposed in the plan are the only way to create the kind of missing middle housing needed to accommodate real income diversity in Princeton. I also want to point out that much of what we are proposing will work to mitigate, not exacerbate, the trends some residents worry about: loss of green space, traffic congestion, stormwater problems. I need to emphasize that while the plan proposes allowing more dwelling units in certain parts of town, these are walkable, bikeable locations, and the plan does not advocate any change in the bulk of structures, impervious coverage, and setbacks. We're basically talking about allowing, but not requiring, more smaller dwelling units in the same building envelope, rather than continuing to encourage replacing our existing housing stock with fewer, larger dwelling units. Why shouldn't the sort of small apartment buildings in converted large homes, which we see coexisting perfectly comfortably with existing single-family homes on Wigan Street or Park Place, why shouldn't they also be allowed on Harrison Street or on Elm Road? Princeton is not alone in facing the challenges we face, and we are not reinventing the wheel with the changes mapped out in the new master plan. The recommendations reflect tested and true development patterns already common in some of Princeton's nicest neighborhoods, and they fall squarely within the bounds of best practices espoused consistently by the vast majority of the planning profession, and being adopted by similar communities across the country. Please support me and my council colleagues in the coming years as we try to turn these plans into reality.
So first of all, I just want to congratulate David and Leticia for stepping up to a third term. Thank you so much for your service to our community over these past 6 years. Also, congratulations, Mia, and thank you for that wonderful speech. All of the speeches actually have been terrific so far, and I really appreciate that. I really just want to talk about, also working with my colleagues. It's such an honor, and I really couldn't ask for a better, more collaborative team. I also want to extend the gratitude to our professional staff for all your hard work and for all that we've been able to achieve. This past year and the years that I've been on council, we've accomplished a great deal, but there's more ahead. We continue to address many issues, and everyone's touched on this already, but I'm going to say we continue to address affordability and maintaining greater diversity in our town, which really speaks to our true values of that we all share. We are creating opportunities for lower and middle income residents for that missing middle housing stock that we so desperately need. And we're going to be welcoming new residents to live here very soon.
We'll also be adding to our tax base and investing in greater community benefits. That's going to benefit everybody, new residents as well as current residents. I want to touch too on how we continue to work on expanding economic opportunities for our commercial sector. 2023 was the first year milestone for our new special improvement district called Experience Princeton, whose goals of economic development continue to be achieved. Expansion of services that benefit businesses in town, improving on beautification, sanitation, and the overall customer experience helps to contribute to the increased economic vitality in the improved business mix that addresses residents' needs and enhances opportunities for the small business owner that our town needs. We need to continue to support and nurture the small entrepreneur, the small business that's been so vital to the history of our town. We continue to find ways internally to trim our budget, streamline our operations, capture grant funding, and expand non-tax revenue opportunity. This also helps to offset the residential tax burden that we are all very painfully aware of trying to not increase. We continue to explore ways that our municipal properties can be utilized more cost effectively. We continue to try to better serve the diverse needs of our residents. We are continuing work on enhancing our parks, our recreational amenities. We just completed, and very proudly to say, the first phase of the planning process for Community Park South, which is really a gem of a property, and as the mayor mentioned before, is underutilized and also in real disrepair. So we look forward to moving to the second phase on CP South, as well as looking to improve other parks, such as Grover Park. We continue to invest in our streetscapes, as mentioned before, Witherspoon Street, Phase 1 complete, Phase 2 almost complete, Phase 3. We're looking at Nassau Street, as well as all the other streetscapes in town. We are investing a great deal with the goal also to make it more pedestrian and bike friendly. We've expanded, and I see our communications directors here, we've expanded and improved our newsletter, continue to find ways to use social media and our website and better ways to outreach to our residents. We're just getting started on that, but there's so much more we can do. So I just want to say that I look forward to the challenges and the opportunities of the coming year. I'm optimistic to work with this team, and I thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mayor, and Happy New Year to all here. I just want to take a quick minute to just say, you know, it's nice to be up here on this day, but without Princeton's great human infrastructure, and I mean the people that work for the town of Princeton, from the chief of police who's here, from Raina Harris, the clerk. You start naming people, you mess up, but we got a great department heads. I see Jeff Grosser is here. To all of you who work for Princeton, if you don't mind, just that are here, Bernie, please stand up so we, the council and mayor, can acknowledge the work that you do. There is no us without you. So again, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed colleagues, and all residents of Princeton, today we stand at the crossroads of Princeton's future. Our community is evolving, and the decisions we make now will shape not only the present, but also generations to come. Princeton, with its rich history and unparalleled charm, has become a symbol of exclusivity for some. There are those that yearn to freeze our town in time, keeping it a gated enclave where the average home sells for over $1.2 million. Yet, our duty is clear: to ensure that Princeton remains open to all, a place where diverse voices and varied incomes contribute to the vibrant tapestry of our community. I want to express deep gratitude to my colleagues who prioritize diversity, equity, and inclusion. The work we've done on affordable housing is a testament to our commitment. It's ironic that this effort aimed at providing housing for all income ranges will not only impact those living here, but also those who aspire to join us. Families seeking excellent education, seniors wanting to age in place, and individuals yearning to experience the beauty of our town. As we stand at the threshold of Princeton's future, let's acknowledge the challenges that come with growth. More housing, more people, more cars, more bicycles, more seniors, more dogs, and more everything. Change can indeed be daunting, yet in these challenges lies the potential for Princeton to be a shining example of what building community is all about. We must shift our focus from the negatives that change brings to the positives that follow. More housing means more homes for families. More people bring more perspectives. More bicycles promote a greener environment. And more seniors ensure the wisdom of our community is preserved. It is not the quantity, but the quality of our growth that will define us. Princeton's essence lies not in its buildings or its infrastructure, but in its people. The vibrancy, energy, diversity, humanity, and the soul of our town are woven into the fabric of its residents. It's about creating a town where the air is filled not just with the hustle and bustle, but with the harmony of different voices, backgrounds, and experiences. Let's embrace the positives that growth brings. More peace, more love, more diversity, and more understanding. It is the people that make the town vibe, that shape its energy, that define its diversity, that contribute to its humanity, and that breathe life into its soul. Princeton's journey to becoming a city on the hill is not about resisting change, but about navigating it with intention, ensuring that our growth is a force for good. Together, let's build a Princeton that thrives not just in structures, but in the hearts and connections of its people. Fired up and ready to go. Thank you.
I'm not sure how I ended up following Leighton, which is something I really try to avoid. But I have to say, everyone tonight has been extraordinarily eloquent. Thank you all on both sides for everything you've said. I'm actually going to toss my narrow remarks and go off script a little bit. So I hope you'll bear with me, and I will try to be brief. So I want to also, thank my colleagues, our staff, our boards, commissions, and committees. Some people who serve on those are here. My family, and again, our residents for the give and take throughout the year. As challenging as it is to have a town of very educated, opinionated, and determined people, it makes us so much better. And I think, as Mark alluded to, it makes our policies better because they're challenged all the way along the way. And by the time we implement them, hopefully we've worked out some of the kinks and come to an arrangement and a path that is good for all. As a body, we've focused on the shared goals of affordability, equity, sustainability, and resilience. And I think the equity and affordability issue has been addressed very well so far. So I'm going to focus a little bit on resilience and sustainability. We've been saying all along that the two challenges, the major challenges of our lifetime and our and as a governing body are the affordability crisis and climate change. And again, my colleagues have talked a lot about affordability. I'm going to talk a little bit about climate change. Climate change can be addressed in a number of ways, and one of the things that I've focused on, along with Mia, we've been on our open space committee and consortium, and one of our members, Trish Shanley, is here tonight, without whose leadership and devotion to bringing the next generation up, we would not be succeeding. And I also want to recognize among our community partners, Christine Symington of Sustainable Princeton, who has also been really a leader in this. And I know I can always call on her when I want, to know how to go about doing things and making them more sustainable and to build resilience. So one of the things I've been focused on over the last few years and will continue to focus on going forward is increasing our open space, and that provides two main benefits. One benefit is increasing our open space profile means that land is not developed, and land that isn't developed has an ability to absorb the incredible rainstorms that we're getting now, and all the challenges of an environment as we continue to build. We are trying to build in places, direct our new developments in places where there already has been development. If you look at all of our major housing developments, none of them involve clear-cutting virgin land and building on that. We are redeveloping in our interior core and at the same time preserving the open space. And again, to acknowledge Trish for her Emerald Necklace initiative, which I hope will be taking some really concrete steps towards building in this year, not only the acquisition of properties, but the building of connections to those properties to address the very real equity issues that many of our open and green spaces are in areas where it's harder for people without a car to get there, and where people of less income, less disposable income have trouble accessing. So that is really a priority for me, and I think for all of the council and for our staff. And I want to thank Deanna and Jim in particular for their work on this. So that is one part of the resiliency, is creating, maintaining the open space, acquiring, that emerald necklace, and building the connections to that. And the other, of course, is building resiliency and changing the way the municipality operates so that we are building towards a more sustainable future. And I want to just say a couple of things about some relatively small initiatives that we've taken this year, but I think that really have significance, and we'll continue to look for ways to do that. So as some of you know, I like to say there's no such thing as a way anymore. Like, you can't throw anything away. There's no away. Away used to be the ocean, and then away for recyclables became China. But there is no away anymore, and it is absolutely incumbent upon all of us to change the way that we live our lives in order to create less waste, less trash. And we've taken some steps towards that. We've introduced a new municipal trash program, which I know has been a difficult change for some. And as David alluded to, I think, change is challenging, but we have to shape the change that we want to see rather than have the change happen to us. And some of these changes are driven by increased costs, and some of them are driven by environmental necessity. So we have reintroduced our compost program this year. We've changed the way we pick up trash, and that's resulted in a significant, I think it was 17% reduction in the amount of trash that we've generated, and that is a really substantial thing for a community like this to do. So I want to call the whole community out for helping with this. And there'll be further steps to take going forward. the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection has stepped up its game in terms of taking steps to protect our environment, and those steps do have an impact on us as a community. So, for example, we have things that we need to do in terms of how we take care of our properties that impact the water, the stormwater that runs off our properties, that it's so important to keep clean so that we all have clean, fresh water to draw on, and that the leaves and brush and detritus don't get sucked into our storm drains and then spewed out into the environment to increase pollutions. So there's a number of things that we've done so far. This year we'll be putting major investment into our sewer system, which is one of those hidden and very non-sexy infrastructure components that really has a vast impact on both our budget and the quality of life that our residents have. So there are a number of things that we're doing to move towards sustainability and towards environmental resilience that I'm really proud of what we've accomplished. Of course, there's a lot more to go. Now I want to segue to a more personal note. Many of you in the room know this already because I've had one-on-one conversations with you. But despite the love that I share for my colleagues and for the staff, I have decided not to seek re-election this year. It's been an honor and a privilege, really, to serve as a member of council. And I hope that my final year will be as challenging and productive as the last 5 have been. It's really hard to contemplate leaving a job that I find so rewarding and stimulating, but I'm at peace with this decision. And I thank all of you in the room and in the community for your contributions, your support, and your passion for our shared community. And I look forward to working together this year to achieve many of our mutual goals. So thank you.
All right, the next part of the meeting is public comments for anything that was not on the agenda. If anybody here in the room has anything they wanted to say or ask that wasn't already on the agenda, this would be the time to say that. Thank you very much for not having anything to say or comment on. And let me just check. Adam in the back room, is there anybody on Zoom that had a comment? No one in the back. Okay. So in that case, I will look to David, who is the premier maker of our...
I move to adjourn.
There we go. Is there a second? Thank you, Leticia. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you all for being with us tonight. Have a great New Year.